I'm wearing these bright colors because today we're talking about the book of Joshua, which is a book of victory. We are done with the Pentateuch, the first 5 books, and now we're moving into the historical books of the Old Testament. Joshua means the Lord saves, and the major theme is the divine warrior brings Israel to the land of promise and provides rest. The structure of the book of Joshua is really pretty simple. The first 12 chapters is the divine warrior, God using Joshua to lead Israel to conquer the promised land. The last half of the book, chapters 13 through 24, is the dividing of the land, which tribe gets which part of the land. And really the whole book of Joshua can be summed up in Joshua 21, 43 through 45. That says, "Thus the Lord gave to Israel all the land that he swore to give to their fathers, and they took possession of it, and they settled there. And the Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had sworn to their fathers. Not one of all their enemies had withstood them, for the Lord had given all their enemies into their hands. Not one word of all the good promises that the Lord had made to the house of Israel had failed. All came to pass." And here in this passage, we really see the 4 major themes of promise, victory, land, and rest. Which leads me to this idea of how the book of Joshua is really all about Jesus. Joshua, meaning the Lord saves, translated into Greek is Jesus. And so actually, Joshua and Jesus have the same name. And it's interesting that Joshua has this role of being the victorious warrior and leading them into the promised land. Moses, who often symbolizes the law, could not bring them into the promised land, but Joshua, who symbolizes Jesus, can bring them into the promised land. We see in the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, that the writer argues that Jesus is a better type of Joshua. Starting in verse 8, it says, "For if Joshua had given them rest, God would not have spoken of another day later on. So then, there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God, for whoever has entered God's rest has also rested from his works as God did from his." What we see here is that Jesus is the true and better Joshua. That yes, Joshua fulfilled Moses' tasks and brought the people of God into the promised land, but Jesus, through his life, death, and resurrection, brings us into the promised land and provides us true eternal rest. So that's the book of Joshua. You should read it, realizing that our God is a God of victory, our God is a promise-keeping God, and that ultimately Jesus is the fulfillment of it all and will put Joshua to shame, if you will, when he brings us into our eternal rest in the new heavens and the new earth.